Yo, welcome back everybody to a brand new video here on the second channel. We finally have the remainder of Paradox Rift fully revealed. We got a couple new EX cards to take a look at. We got 3 new EXs to look at in today's video. A new promo EX that looks pretty cool. We also got some other cool Pokemon news that I really just wanted to briefly talk about here. But if y'all are excited for today's video here on the second channel, looking at new card reveals, make sure to leave a like in the video. And of course, if you are new here to the second channel, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already. It'd be greatly appreciated if you went ahead and clicked that sub button down below. And I'm excited to look at these new cards. Of course, we got the rest of Paradox Rift revealed. Now, I've already seen most of these cards that were revealed from Paradox Rift, but I didn't really talk too in depth about them on the pack opening video that I did here on the main channel earlier today. So I thought it'd be good to still talk about them and kind of give my opinion and a bit more of a detailed discussion about some of these new cards. But yeah, we got 3 new EXs to look at in today's video, and we got a couple other cool Pokemon news. So we'll start off with 4 new reveals from Paradox Rift. I guess we'll start this off with Rook. So Rook is a brand new supporter that draws 2 cards. Put a basic energy from your discard pile in your hand. So this card is okay, right? Drawing 2 cards is not a whole lot considering it could have been like draw 3 cards. But it does put energy back in your hand. And it's, I mean, not bad. I don't know many decks that will abuse the effect of Rook, though. The only deck I can think of that would probably play Rook, and that's a big maybe, it's probably Goldango EX, right? Goldango EX maybe could play Rook because, I mean, Goldango EX wants energy in its hand, so you can play Rook, draw 2 cards, put a basic energy back, play a retrieval, superior retrieval, right? And then you get 5 energy in your hand, and you're drawing 2 cards, plus Goldango's ability. Maybe you can find, like, a couple more energy to do, like, 350 damage or something. I think Rook is just kind of mid. I don't think it's the greatest supporter ever. It kind of gets outclassed by, like, Clara. Like, if I'm going to play Rook in Goldango EX, I mean, I feel like it's better to play Clara at that point, because you can get 2 energy back if you're going to play supporter. The drawing 2 cards is nice, though, and maybe that's, like, the only reason this card sees plays, because, yeah, it does draw you 2 cards. You could combine this with, like, Radiant Greninja to, like, draw 4 cards, if you think about it, right? You can go draw 2, get an energy, Greninja the energy away, draw 4 cards. So maybe there is some benefit to Rook in that regards. Like, playing it with Radiant Greninja could be kind of cool. But yeah, I feel like it's just kind of mid. Maybe it'll see play with Goldango's a one of, and maybe you can play some cool Radiant Greninja shenanigans to see more cards in a turn. Next up, we got Cursed Duster. So a new tool card here dropped. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, discard a random card from your opponent's hand. So immediately this card is extremely similar, if not the same, as a tool card called Spirit Mask, I think it is. Or, yeah, I think it's Spirit Mask. And I don't think that that is very good, because both Spirit Mask and Cursed Duster probably won't see play. I mean, the effect of getting rid of a random card from your opponent's hand isn't, like, terrible or anything. Like, it's not bad. But there's not really that many decks right now that can really abuse it. I mean, I guess, like, you could play this in Arbok EX, but Arbok EX also has to get knocked out for the effect of this to work, right? So the effect, I think, is just too weak. Maybe if it was, like, going to take damage from an attack, it'd be a bit better. But yeah, getting knocked out is just too specific. Maybe if you got to choose the card you got to discard, that would probably be a lot better, to be honest. Like, if you got to choose what got discarded, then this would have been better. But because it's random, I just can't see it being played, unfortunately. Next up, we got Cofarigus here. Now, Cofarigus is actually a very interesting attacker. It's very reminiscent of Dragapult VMAX, which is a big deal, obviously. So it does have the ability Gold Coffin. If this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack, you get to search deck for any card and put in your hand. Not a bad ability, right? I mean, Cofarigus has to get knocked out, and it's only got 260 HP, so it ain't the tankiest Pokemon in town. And it gets knocked out, you get any card out of your deck. That can help you, obviously, get, you know, maybe an energy, a supporter. Maybe you're trying to chain, you know, Cofarigus for the following turn. You can grab, like, a Raihan to attack with another Cofarigus. So there are some cool benefits you get out of its ability. So its ability is kind of cute. And then its attack, Hollow Hands, for 2 psychic energy, does 110 damage. You could put 5 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon in any way you like. So, obviously, we see it being similar to what Dragapult VMAX did. Dragapult VMAX, I think, did 130 damage and 50 to the bench. Yeah, I think it was 130. Yeah, I think it was 130 damage. It could have been 160. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's 130 damage, though. Dragapult did do 130 and then 50. And this isn't a bad effect, obviously. We see that, you know, low HP basic decks are in the format now. This card, thankfully, does not get shut off by Jirachi. That was the first thing I thought of this card. I was like, well, this card's pretty cool. But I'm like, oh, Jirachi stops it. Actually, I'm pretty sure Jirachi only blocks basic Pokemon from using effects. So Yoga Loop, Medicham, and Sableye are really the only 2 cards Jirachi stops. Jirachi doesn't stop evolutions, I'm pretty sure. Now, I could be wrong on that, but I'm almost certain Jirachi is specifically just basic Pokemon. from, basic Pokemon's effects, right? So it blocks Sableye, not Cofarigus. So Cofarigus actually should work under Jirachi. And obviously, like, a lot of decks are going to play Jirachi, when Paradox Rift comes out, which Cofarigus gets caught in the crossfire, but no, Jirachi doesn't stop Cofarigus. Now, the only other downside of Cofarigus, it is weak to Dark, so it's going to get destroyed by Charizard. This actually could be pretty good, though, against Lost Box, right? This could be a decent Lost Box attacker. It's got, a fair amount of HP. It's got a pretty good attack against Lost Box. You're one-shot Cram and Sableye, and you're putting damage on the bench. If they ever Dragonite you, it's like, okay, cool, thank you for the free damage. So I don't know. I feel like Cofarigus could be decent. It's not the worst card ever. Definitely not a bad EX. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Jirachi doesn't block it, which is a big deal. I guess we can see if Jirachi blocks it, because Jirachi should be in the full set reveal here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Gotta go down to the metal types. Metal. Where are they at? Yeah, Jirachi. Where you at, Jirachi? I know you're here somewhere. Jirachi. There it is. Yeah, attack from opponent's basic Pokemon. Boom. Yeah, just wanted to clear the water on that, because somebody might have been like, oh, I'm not sure about that. Well, no, I knew it did. There's new low kicks, too. Does a dark Pokemon. Keep in mind, dark types are good right now. It's got the attack Punishing Kick. Does 10 plus 40 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. So kind of similar to the Raticate from 151, right, where it does more damage for each damage on the active. Unfortunately, this does have to require 2 Dark Energy, though you can build it up with Dark Patch, so keep that in mind. It's honestly not a bad attack. I mean, that can actually do a lot of damage. I mean, 10 plus 40 more damage. I mean, 40 times effectively is pretty insane. So, not a bad attack, honestly. I think this is actually like a decent attacker. And since Dark Patch exists, maybe this low kicks could be okay. So, definitely not a bad card. Actually, probably the best low kicks we have right now. Next up, we have an Aegislash EX that also got revealed in the new set. Now, Aegislash does, of course, have the other Aegislash in the format that does make it immune to basics with abilities. Now, this Aegislash does have the attack Peerless Edge that does 70 damage for 1 metal energy and does 70 more damage for each prize card you have taken. So, really, the first attack only gets good in the later half of the game, but in the later half of the game, you can hit pretty high numbers. I mean, you take 3 prizes, you're doing 210 damage, you hit 4 prizes, that's 280. Now, you still kind of fall short on, like, EX knockouts, and that's kind of the downside of Aegislash, so it's not the greatest, but it could be a good one-of to play in the single prize Aegislash deck that could become a thing with Paradox Rift, so keep that in mind. Its other attack isn't bad either. Doing 220 for 2 metals isn't the worst thing ever. I mean, it's okay damage, right? You're knocking out a lot of the basic V and EX cards, which is cool. It does also have 330 HP. It's also pretty tanky at the same time, so I think this card is actually not bad. It could be a good one-of to play, like I said, in the Aegislash single prize deck. Of course, new Aegislash is immune to Pokemon V and EXs. We just actually did a video yesterday on the channel here looking at early deck lists for that Aegislash, so this could be a good one-of to play in that deck. So I actually don't think this Aegislash is that bad. Some other new cards to take a look at here. We do have a new Wug Trio here, which when you evolve it from your hand, you can search your deck for up to 3 tools and put them in your hand. This could be good with the new Garbodor. So we got another Garbodor, and this one, unfortunately, is not as good as the other ones we've had in the past, but it does have an okay attack with Chuck. For a single Dark Energy, it does 50 damage. Discard any number of Pokemon tool cards you find there. It does 50 for each card discarded in this way. I just did a video on a Maractus over on the main channel that has the exact same attack, except it required 2 energy. This only requires 1 Dark Energy. And Garbodor does have an alright typing, right? Being a Dark type is good. Discarding tools from your hand isn't bad. You compare this with Snorlax from 151 with the leftovers, right? The leftovers allow you to do 200 damage for free right there, as long as you have 4 in the discard, and then obviously with double Snorlax. So this is actually not a bad card whatsoever. It combines well with leftovers and Snorlax. It's a dark type. It is a stage 1, which is honestly the only downside about it. It is a stage 1, but only need 1 dark energy means you can just play this with literally just like Snorlaxes and leftovers and a bunch of tool cards, and this card can be pretty good. I actually think Garbodor is going to be a pretty fun rogue. I'm going to be excited to take a look at it and make a video on it when it comes out in Paradox Rift. Some other Poke news to look at before we get into some new card reveals. So we are getting a new shiny set, much like Shining Fates and Hidden Fates. We are going to get another shiny set for Scarlet and Violet. We can see here some cards already got revealed. We got a shiny Meowscarada, shiny Skeledirge, shiny Quaquaval, and of course, we got to get a shiny Charizard. Now, ironically, there already is a shiny Charizard. Like, I don't understand why they have to keep printing all these Charizards, but it is what it is. Just another Charizard, because there's a new promo Charizard that just came out too. That's also the same like artwork as this. Well, it's a different artwork, but the same card where it's like the white background and stuff. So I don't know why Pokemon just like love Charizard. Like, see, look, like, do we really need more of this Charizard? I just whatever, bro. It is what it is. And yeah, this can be a cool mini set. There's also another new card that got revealed. We got Clive here. Your opponent reveals their hand. Draw 2 cards for each supporter you find there. So, kind of an interesting card. I don't think it's like the greatest card ever, but against decks like Lost Box and maybe even, of course, Garbodor, this actually could be pretty powerful. Not only do you get a bit of hand knowledge, which is always good. Being able to see your opponent's hand is never a bad thing. But you also get to draw cards for each supporter you find there. And that's only really going to be good against decks that do have big hands. And, I mean, hey, if Ticketton EX ever becomes a relevant deck, there you go. Clive's a good card. But yeah, it actually isn't bad against decks like Guardy. Once again, Guardy usually tends to have monstrous hands that probably they do have like 3 or 4 supporters that let you draw like 8 cards in total. So not the worst supporter ever. I don't think it's like going to be played or anything, but it is cool if you're up against like a deck like Guardy or Lost Box where their hand is bigger, even the new Goldengo EX potentially. So I don't know what to see. This is a cool card. Not the greatest card ever, but it is a cool effect that, again, there are decks that can have big hands. Finally, we got some new gym promos revealed. And gym promos are kind of cool. We obviously saw Halucha. We got the Moonlight Hill Stadium. Let's take a look at some of these gym promos here. And again, we do have a brand new EX gym promo to look at, which is actually not bad. So we got a new Tinkaton here. Does Wild Press 220 and then knock off 40, discard a random card from your hand. Yeah, nothing too crazy. The big one, though, is, of course, going to be the new Garg Soul EX. This card is actually pretty legit. It's kind of like Goodra. It's Goodra V-Star 2.0, basically. So it's got the ability Salt Body, where it can be affected by special conditions. Not terrible, but its main attack, Block Hammer, for a fighting and a double turbo, does 170 damage, and then during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 60 less damage from attacks. Now, obviously, it's not the exact same thing as Goodra, because Goodra does minus 80, which is technically better. However, Garg Soul does have 340 HP, so it does have more HP than Goodra with the effect of the attack, right? Goodra has, what, 270 HP alongside the attack Rolling Iron. That goes up to 360 HP. So this actually gets 400 effective HP if you do Block Hammer. So technically, Garg Soul is more tankier than Goodra, which is really cool. Now, it does have a bit more of a cost. It is a Stage 2 as opposed to a Stage 1, and it doesn't have Moisture Star. To be fair, Garg Soul does have some decent support cards. It does have the other Garg Soul in the format that lets you accelerate energy from your discard pile to a fighting Pokemon. That's also coming out in Paradox Rift. There's the Garg Soul that in between checkup phase, you get to heal 20 damage from each of your Pokemon, so there is that on top of that. And you can play Garg Soul with all the fighting accelerating cards, like Gutsy Pickaxe. Again, this does work with double turbo energy, which would make you do 150, but because you're so tanky, it might not matter. You can play Gutsy Pickaxe. You can play Koraidon EX. You can also play Garchomp EX. I think Garchomp Garg Soul could actually be a legit deck. Garchomp EX with that first attack does 1 for 160, and then you can put 3 fight energy from discard pile on your Pokemon. So Garchomp Garg Soul actually could be a thing. I mean, you're already playing Rare Candy. Why not kind of throw in a couple Garchomp as a way to build up your Garg Soul? So there is one deck I could see popping off. Garchomp Garg Soul could be kind of cool. Who knows? Maybe even you'll play Garg Soul with the Lost Zone engine. It does need a fighting and a double turbo, which means you can easily build this up. You don't have to do too many shenanigans to power up your Garg Soul EX. So yeah, I think it's actually kind of a cool card. It's very much like Goodra. It's tankier than Goodra. It's going to be harder to put into play than Goodra, but it is honestly not a bad card, and I'm excited for this card to come out, because, I mean, Goodra's a cool card, and it's cool, I guess. Finally, we got Raford here. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You may discard any number of cards you find there, and put the other cards back in any order. So it's kind of interesting. It is a way to discard cards. So maybe this could see play in decks like United Wings or in Gardevoir, where any deck that wants to put cards in the discard pile will probably play it. Unfortunately, I don't think this card is like that good, though. I mean, you're not drawing any cards. You're just looking at cards and discarding cards, so it's not that good. Maybe this could see play in Lugia, though. I think ultimately Burnett is just a better supporter, but yeah, this could be played with Lugia, too. I guess that's the other deck that wants to discard cards early on, but I think ultimately Burnett is just a better card for Lugia regardless, but it's not the worst supporter ever. Probably just too niche to see play, though. And yeah, that'll be it for the new card reveals. What do you think of all the new cards revealed down below? What do you think of the new EXs? What do you think of Garg Soul? Do you think Garg Soul is actually going to be legit? I'm interested to hear it down below, and I'm excited for Paradox Rift. If you want to see me open up some early Paradox Rift, I opened up 2 booster boxes and 2 ETBs that Pokemon provided me to open up early. I opened them up over on the main channel today on today's main channel video. If for whatever reason you missed the video over on the main channel, definitely go check it out down on the main channel, linked in the description below, and all that good stuff. And yeah, that'll be for me, and I'll see you all on another video soon. Have a good rest of your day, and bye-bye.